There we go.
That is.
Yep.
Hello and welcome back to SLR's third division season. We are here in Sao Paulo, Brazil, for what should be an entertaining race. We saw Dark Zenon clinch the Drivers' Championship last time out in the United States, but there is still the Constructors up for grabs. Can we see it sealed today? We can only wait, and time will tell. Once again, the commentary team is myself, Riggs, and I'm joined alongside Merx once again. Merx, nice to have you here in the booth once again.
Yeah, good evening, everyone. Hope everyone's well. Looking forward to another brilliant race, I hope. Championship for the drivers may be concluded, but there's still a couple of races to have a go around. So you never know what could happen.
Definitely, like the constructors, looks heavily in the favour of Williams over Haas. And we were just having a brief discussion before setting up the stream, and we under our calculations, Neelix does have to outscore both Williams drivers. That would be Zenon and Father Corn. Sorry, apologies, is standing in as reserve. So his points will count to the Williams tally as well.
I think
Ruling?
they count to himself, but not the team. I can't remember. Something like that. So yeah, I think it's just a shootout between Neelix and Zenon.
Yep. Right, no worries. So basically, the ruling is what Max was rightly saying there. It is just going to be a shootout between Neelix and Dark Zenon, season-long title protagonists. The driver's title was also concluded last week. Neelix needs to beat Zenon on the track to keep the constructors alive and done to the wire for next week's race in Abu Dhabi. But we'll sit on board with Neelix now since he is actually on a lap. He is just coming through turn 4 at the moment as we speak. Just Sao Paulo, where does this track stand in your list of favourites, Max? Give me your opinion on the circuit as a whole.
It's definitely up there. I think, well, it provides very decent racing with the massive long straight, and then you get a second go down into turn 4, tight twisty section, the middle section trying to keep the cars close together. Yeah, I mean, we've seen plenty of good races in real life, and I'm sure we will see some more across, well, tonight, and we have seen already this weekend.
Aye, definitely. And another trait that we should point out there is that Sao Paulo is no stranger to title deciders either. So maybe we could just see one here tonight. We've seen, obviously, in real life Formula 1, we've seen Lewis Hamilton clinch the championship here. Kimi Räikkönen and Fernando Alonso have done likewise. Jenson Button here. Sebastian Vettel done it. There has been a lot of title deciders here in the past. So we could maybe continue that trend here if Dark Zenon does seem to get an upper edge on Neelix. Neelix had an invalidated lap there, so that's why his time isn't actually on the board. We see the Williams
So
just taking a trip along the grass, deciding to go a wee bit of off-roading there. But we're only just short of 5 minutes in the session. We've got 7 times on the board at the minute. Neil Hecklin is top. Scott just puts himself second with a 109.7 there, puts him in the front row. Father Colin third, the big fellas in 4th. Scott Laney, Craig, Jonesy, both Alpha Males 6 and 7, and Paul in 8th coming into the pits. The time delta thing there, Neelix does actually put a lap in a 109.9, puts him 6. The sun continues to shine. The sky is a bit cloudy. Do we have any weather updates?
Weather report saying it's completely dry. So, yeah. Dry race. Dry qualifying by the looks of it. So, yeah. Completely dry throughout. There's obviously been some rain in the past here, so. But yeah, completely dry this time around.
I mean, you don't need. Rain does always bring a bit of flavour into a Formula 1 race, but I think Brazil, due to the actual the styling of the circuit, like the nature of the track. Like as you were kind of saying in the build up there, you've got your main opportunities at turn 1 and then again at turn 4, so you can get 2 consecutive shots at overtaking, and then you've got the technical second sector, and then you've got the penultimate corner, which in theory acts as the last corner, and you just drive up the hill all the way back up to the pit lane, or to the pit straight rather. So there is opportunities for overtaking in wheel-to-wheel action. Like, I don't think we need... I mean, Brazil's one of the few tracks that you don't really need rain. I mean, it is known for rain, but you don't need rain for it to be a great race.
Definitely.
But...
Still got about...
Look...
7 cars. 6 cars. 7 cars. Haven't set it up yet. Also, I think Gareth can still beat Neelix in the drivers. And that might go down to... So battle for second place might go down to Abu Dhabi. I'll have a quick look.
I'll jump on board with Gareth as he is on his outlap. He's on his outlap now, so we'll just leave him to that. That exams what he's set up for a lap. And while Merckx is looking at the championship standings, I will sit on board with Dark Zen and then I'll give you a run through to the lap while Merckx gets the statistics up. He gets a decent enough run at the final turn there. Up the hill the car climbs, the pit lane is there to the left. You're going to come under the lights here to start your lap. Turn 1 is literally just 100 metres away. Brakes just after the 100 metre board into third gear there for the extra turn in, and then up to 4 for turn 2, and then it's the long sweeping left-hander at turn 3 that puts you onto the second DRS straight on this circuit. Up into 8th gear, and it's just a easy run into turn 4 when you're on your own. Nice wee shift into 4th. It's a very nice flowing, swooping, quick corner there, so you're able to carry all the speed that you were building up into the zone of 4. But this is when it starts to kind of be killed off a wee bit as you're coming through the tight and twisty sector there, as it gets a wee bit of a slide on at the rear there, a wee bit of a tank slapper there, and again through turn 7. And he's in the second sector here, and this is another corner that's a bit tricky here. It's particularly delicate on traction. He does a bit of an exceptional job there on traction management, but he kind of has a bit of a jittery steering there on the downhill left into the final corner again. Doesn't really clip the curb there as much as you'd like to clip it, because you get a good wee bit of assistance in turning in, as well as just shedding off some lap time there. But it doesn't seem to be the best lap for Dark Zenon on the first run, but where will it put him on the board? It puts him third fastest on the timing sheet there. It didn't look like a clean lap, but
yeah, not a bad lap in the end. It looked like it could have been quicker. Certainly.
Oh, definitely. And that'll be the main thing as well. The track will always get quicker, like once these drivers like rubber in, and the track becomes less greener. And also when you rubber the track in, also when a grip comes, the temperature can play a big part in helping tyre grip and traction out of these slow, twisty sector 2 turns. But Dark Zenon's lap didn't really look too put together. Like, there was pieces where he was missing a couple of apexes as well as a couple of tank slappers in the second sector there, but there is no doubt in my mind that he can definitely go quicker than at 195. He does look to be safe at the moment, being that high up on the board. So where are we expecting the cut-off to be as we're finally getting some chat action on the stream, as everybody's saying hello lads, what's happening?
Everyone's saying hello.
Dozzy and check us out. So hello viewers, what's happening? Good to have some chat engagement. I don't know if that was Iceman Liam says hello as well. What's happening, son? Smoke says evening. Good evening to you too, Smoke pal. What's happening? Oh, if we're just saying hello now. C-Max says hello to you there as well. But I thought we were having a bit of a chat issue there because the chat was quiet for so long. We normally do get a great deal of chat from the get-go, but I was wondering if I just had a bit of
Renger's just said you look very nice. I mean,
you're looking in through my window? The blinds are shut. But I don't know how you can see me, but I mean, I'm always looking nice, mate. Always looking a smashing 10 out of 10. We're going to look and see who's on a lap next. Who can we see?
I don't know if Zach's on a lap. This might have been validated. I can't really tell. Yeah, he's on in none.
He's backed off.
I think playing Teddy.
Zach. Teddy.
It started one.
Teddy.
I
69
have
in
got
the
some
first sector.
championship permutations now.
Oh, yep. Let's get
Um,
them out there.
so Gareth is 18 points behind Neelix, and Scott is 22 points behind Neelix. So yeah, they really have to beat Neelix to have any chance of getting second place in the champ. Yeah, that is. I mean, there's Zach in 5th, is a way back from Scott, so it's really a battle for second now. Neelix is in pole position for that. So yeah, I think Gareth and Scott really need to beat Neelix to stand any chance of getting second place.
Definitely a battle for second place could be, well, it's still up in the air. Anything can happen in that in these two races. And in Brazil, I think that saying kind of stands true. As we see Teddy crashing.
What happened there?
I don't know. He
must
he
have hit
just
the
hit the
outside
wall.
wall.
I had him on the broadcast camera, and I don't remember
Yeah.
seeing him having like any real moment
He kind of just
being
went
out of
wide.
control or unstable.
He went wide and then just hit the wall, and all of a sudden he was just gone.
I can't. I don't think he wasn't really losing it. Like if
No.
anything, he was actually still on the road, but
He
the
must
car
have
just
just
seemed to.
lapsed in
out to the
concentration or something.
Oh, honestly, I can probably like vouch for that because I'm quite bad for that. Like there is times where I'm just like sitting on a straight when I'm driving, like in the game, no in real life. Don't do what I do, but there is just times where you just lose that moment of concentration, and unfortunately for Teddy, that moment of concentration relapse had just caused him any real shot at pole, any real shot at Q2. So he's going to start 15th at best, so it seems. But as the drivers are out on track and put the times in, I feel like he's only going to go down in the order. Just looking through the chat just to see what happens. Everybody's kind of reacting there to Teddy Eddie. Teddy's done himself a mischief. I can definitely agree with that, to be fair. Definitely put himself on the back foot. Somebody's on the back foot of the new is Sprightly. No put a lap in yet, and he's only done a 17.3 in the first sector, which is not the quickest we've seen through there, but we'll sit on board with him on this lap as he comes through turn 6. Hickland's retired from P2, so he definitely feels confident in his ability and his position in the next qualifying round. Sprightly kind of no hitting the apex of 7 there, but he kind of has to straighten up the car. And it's like, I think that's kind of what the drivers are really kind of missing. Like I have seen a lot of like tank slappers. I've seen a lot of loose ends, if you want to say that. As we're on board with Sprightly there, we only really seen it at turn 7 there, but I'm starting to think that the drivers are really running a lower rear wing, or no having a low differential on the rear tyres, and that's maybe why that they're no having the rip or downforce on the rear end. And
yeah, it looks like a 109, a high 109 for sure, because if you look ahead of Sprightly, there's a lot of drivers very close to the other.
Absolutely right there. Scott Laney, Dunte, Craig, only 44 thousandths of a second separating 4 drivers there, and all 4 drivers sit just a short stay away from the drop zone. Steve-O, Zach is Beast, Paul and Orange Crush remain in that drop zone with just over 3 minutes remaining, so they have the pressure on to try and clock a final lap and hopefully leap up the order. But we definitely know that Plain Teddy is going to be out of this qualifying session because he crashed into the exit wall.
Steve-O's lost it.
Turn 3 to 4, and
He's managed to carry on. I'm not quite sure how he's managed to save it. He kind of come out of turn 5. He kind of went towards the grass, and then came back on track, and then carried on like nothing even happened. So, but yeah, I'm sure that's lost him a chunk of time.
Steve just brushes it off as if nothing happened there. He kind of just like puts it behind
He
him
is
and
down.
he's on his way again. But he's no up on his time, and I think he's backed off. Like he didn't get much. He didn't have full throttle there for the start of the hill climb there. So that's going to really ruin his run and probably add an extra couple of tenths onto his time. And I mean, more than a couple of tenths, it adds
you're
7
right about that.
kilometers a second. But we are into the squeaky bum time of the session. We were in the final 2 minutes, and everybody and Steve was just having a bit of a moment there with the steering there. And it was just it's just the moment with the jittery steering there. It was the kind of left and then straight, left and then straight, left and then straight. And I think it was just a moment of being straight for too long, and his car's just veered off the circuit there. So I don't really know what's happening.
Yeah, crushes up as well.
Oh,
and he's on a time that will launch himself out of the bottom 5. Oh, Zenon's gone fastest. Oh, he's lost a lot of time going down the pit straight. He was about 8 tenths up, and he's only improved by about half a second in the end. So he's going to miss out at the moment.
Oh, arms crush. He'll be very tight for time if he wants to go again. Steve-O about to start his flying lap. Scott's retiring for the session, so we are going to start seeing some retirements from the top end of the field here, as we're going to actually sit on board with Steve-O, the fan favourite in SLR and in Division 3 as well, as he slows the car down for
Deadpool's
turn 1.
gone 5th.
And Paul up to 5th there on the side there. He's definitely put in a flying lap here on his final run. Steve-O has the fuel light on, so this could be a race against the tank here in this final run as he comes into turn 4, leaves the braking. Orange Crush is definitely out of the session. Max will have information feeding through about the other drivers there as well. Steve-O's got a lot of ERS management to be doing on this final lap. He's only got 6% there on the bottom left, but every time he brakes it regenerates and he'll have more ERS there to play with on the lap. But he's saving. Oh, and he's went onto the grass. Sorry, Max, he's just completely cut onto the grass. I actually apologise for just cutting you off there, just generally. But Steve-O has backed off his lap and he is out of the qualifying session. So Steve-O qualifying on the back row after the final lap didn't really work out there for the McLaren driver. Zach is beast.
Sprightly has started a lap actually.
Oh, Sprightly did just manage to get around in time, so we'll sit on board with Sprightly.
We've got Alfa Romeo as well on the lap ahead of him. These two are a shootout at the moment. Gareth's in danger. Oh, the Alpha pits.
Oh, and Jonesy comes in, and Sprightly's backed off. And Sprightly's backed off the lap there as well. So Jonesy just narrowly making it through to Q2 there. So even if Sprightly improved by 500ths of a second, that would have got him into Q2. I don't know how much time he actually lost through the second sector, because he was even up. He was up by like just short of a 10th in the first sector, so he was definitely on course to get through.
Yeah.
But he's starting 16th, Max. I don't know what happened on his lap, if he made a mistake or he ran wide, but it must have been enough to just say, right, let's just back off the lap, lads, let's save the car and get it ready for race day.
Yeah, it seemed like a strange. Must have made some big mistake to not bother completing the lap, but there we go. Anyway, very tight in the midfield.
Looking very tight indeed. Not even 7/10 of a second separate the 14 drivers that make it through. Plain Teddy, Sprightly, Orange Crush, Steve-O and Zach is Beast are the 5 drivers eliminated from the first session. And that actually means that in Q2 there's only going to be 4 eliminees instead of 5. So, after Plain Teddy's accident on the straight down to turn 4. So the pressure is on again for the 14 that make it through. But now that they've got themselves familiar with the circuit and their setups. Oh, the clouds are here. The clouds have swooped in. It's not as sunny as it was, but that's definitely going to play a big factor in elements such as temperatures, because it's going to completely change the reference points for some of these turns as well, and that generally means there's not going to be as much grip or as much traction there, and it's going to be a more difficult task in keeping the tyres warm and in an optimum temperature window. So definitely does put a bit of
Oh, having said that, the sun is there coming out of the pit lane.
Again, we're sitting here getting ourselves hyped up about just how the clouds would play their role, but there is still some sunshine breaking through the skies as we see most of the drivers actually coming out there. We've got two Hasses on track. We've got the Williams. I think that is Dark Zenon. Dark Zenon, that is Father
yeah,
Colin
the weather
out in front there.
The weather is dry for the race and dry for qualifying, as far as we know. Obviously, only goes a certain distance in qualifying, but it looks like it's going to be dry for Q2 and Q3. So yeah, and it's dry for the race as well. So that is your weather update. Having said that,
rain.
Orange Crusher says at the end of Q1, Jeff said for 10 to 15 minutes. So it's Crush with your insider info.
Is that maybe why we're seeing so many drivers out on the first runs? The drivers look a bit. They looked a bit laggy to me there, Max. I don't know if they looked a bit good, but I definitely had a few spikes.
Yeah,
there.
I had this. I thought it was just me being having great connection, but yeah, obviously it was both of us. But Fathercorn has invalidated.
And Neelix has followed suit with that there as well. The second driver.
So is the big fella.
And so is the other half of the big fella. So all three drivers out trying to get a quick lap in.
He's alright. Yeah, so the two cars go. Oh my god, what's they doing? Get off the apex.
He's going to. Oh, Neelix is right in the way here of the Haas. Get out of the way. Oh, the racing points got the stop.
Get out of the way.
Neelix, you need to move. You need to move, son.
Oh no. Scott's coming.
Neelix.
Scott's coming. He has got out of the way. Oh my god.
Neelix, you're not on a lap. Come on. Paul had a decent. He had a bit of a slipstream though. We've seen the two Haasies just coming together and getting in each other's way at turn 4, and the big fella got off the circuit well and truly out the way. But Neelix just kept going as if nobody was there, but he didn't see the pink racing point in his mirrors, so I don't know if maybe the stewards will have a wee word about him for that. But Paul takes a really wide line up to the finishing line here.
Go for the NASCAR line, I think.
He's gone for the NASCAR line. I think he's doing the Daytona, not the Sao Paulo. But Paul takes a wide line there, and he's gone really slow, so he's ran wide at turn 1 as well. And
well, he definitely lost some time, so. But Neelix. Wow, that's a good lap.
It's the fact that Neelix resumed the racing line though, and that's meant that Paul had to take a much tighter line into 6. Like, you don't want the tight line there. You kind of want to have the car, as you'll see Paul and both team. I'm going to have Scott on the grass there on the inside of 6, but you want to have the car on the main racing line, keeping the car to the left as you can before you swoop in for turn 6. You're at least up into 7th gear, about to shift into 8th, but you keep it in 7th, and then you quickly downshift it to 6th, and then 5th if you need that extra turn in at the top of the hill before the tight and twisty technical section. So Neelix not only got in the way, but it completely threw Paul off course and off the main racing line. So I wouldn't be too surprised to see a steward report in regards to that. It's definitely Paul's first one at least.
But they've had some reaction to that in the chat. In disgust to his blog. Zenon, meanwhile, has put in a 108.9 on the soft tyres, and Lewis on the mediums has done a 109.4, which is a great lap on the medium compound tyres.
Just I'd just seen the message in the chat, right? For Ranga, sorry, and Kind of like how he's just put Neil in capital letters, like.
Yeah.
I've just pictured Neil's dad for the in-betweeners, like, oh Neil, like the way he says it. I've just just pictured that.
Dear.
Oh Neil, like the way he says it. Oh, honestly, it's so funny. But
Yeah, Owen's put that
everybody's
before,
saying-
actually.
Was it sorry?
He's put O'Neill.
Oh, Neil. Like, I honestly, as soon as I see all the comments from Neelix, that is completely what my brain turned on to. I just definitely thought of Neil's dad for the in-betweeners there.
I like
but
how...
Orange Crush.
Oh,
Oh,
it's
sorry.
raining.
Oh, the rain's here. Oh, so the threat of rain was something that we kind of took a bit light-heartedly to there, to be honest there, but the rain is here, which actually does shift the pressure onto Gareth. Gareth has come up to the line, no third fastest.
That's alright.
We've got Craig, Fathercorn and Scott Laney still to put in a
Craig's in the
representable lap.
pits.
Oh, Craig,
he's
you're
on an out
coming
lap,
on, he's
actually.
just damaged his wing.
Oh,
He's
Just
just-
caught the
his
end of
front
that.
His front right's just been clipped off the outside wall there before entering the track there, and he's losing downforce on that right side, so the car's going to feel like it's got the turning circle of a bus. But Craig's definitely on the back foot here, and I think Craig will be the first of 4 eliminees from this session, unless
Scott is
he
struggling
does-
as well.
and
A little bit.
I mean, we've seen times in these conditions anyway, Max. We've seen qualifying times in sessions where it does just start to rain like midway or near the end, or vice versa. And we've seen drivers pull a lap out their back pocket. We've seen it a couple of years ago when Charles Leclerc done it in Alfa Romeo. We've seen it in 2010 when Nico Hulkenberg got pole position, but doing the same. But I think that was when the track was drying. But Nico Hulkenberg did it in a Williams, so like anything can really happen here still. But
Yeah.
Craig does choose to go for the lap with a damaged front wing. Does keep a tight line at 1, clips the inside of 2 quite nicely. There's the car, slides onto the curb on the inside of turn 3. Car rolls wide. Don't touch that outside curb because you will just be thrown into the left side there, into turn 4 there as well. He does take it a bit cautiously, no hitting that apex, and he has to take a wee bit of the curb there just to help with the car stabilisation there as he runs up to turn 6. He's not all the way to the left either. Has to take a wee bit of the wet weather line up there. It doesn't look quick, Mercs. It looks like he's fighting so hard with that steering wheel just to keep the car on the circuit. Father Con there is maybe a prime example there, quite rightly pointing that out, Mercs.
Oh.
It's a 13-0 as Toro Rosso was facing the wrong way there. I think that is Scott Laney, and it is. And even Craig here, I mean, not only is it raining and he's going to have to try and grab this particular bull by the horns, but he's on the back foot with that again as he gets a big slide on the exit of Jun Shao. But he's got damage on that car. Like, that's a wounded car he's driving as he invalidates right at the end of the lap, comes into the pits. Craig will probably be eliminated. Father Con, Jared Paul and Scott Laney are
Yeah,
all
I think
sitting in the drop zone, and with the weather,
this
not
is the
looking to be-
end. They are disabled. This is the end. I've seen Favicon drifting around the track. Oh my god. He'll be in the wall soon. He doesn't watch out. Oh
Oh,
my god.
And
Oh.
he's took the Kimi Räikkönen line there as he's all way to the right side there on the grass, and just the conditions don't look. They just aren't they looking great? Like, can't even drive in a straight line with the soft tyres on. As
Oh,
he goes back
original.
out of the pits too.
I don't know what he's doing out on track, but
And with the qualifying session at this moment in time is assumed to be the final pecking order, because I doubt the conditions are going to be in a situation where we can go out and improve in the final minutes. The rain does continue to keep coming down. Jonesy retires from 10th. He is right on the cusp of elimination, but I think he will be safe There is a Mercedes out on track though. Originals is taking
Originally,
here.
yeah.
He's not even full throttle. He's not even full throttle up this hill mix. It just really shows just how treacherous these conditions have got in the past few minutes. He's not even. I think he maybe is just coasting back to the pit lane, which he quite rightfully is. We're starting to see some drivers retire,
Yeah,
and I think this will just kickstart the domino effect.
A premature end to the session. We've had a few comments in the chat. Orange Cross asks, what parts is Riggs from? So you can answer that question.
What do you mean part? Like where I'm fae?
Yeah, where are you
Is that
from?
what you mean?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm from Scotland, mate, if you didn't ken. If the accent never gave it away, that is it there. But no, I'm from Scotland, mate. I'm for the
Up north.
up north where you're meant to be, where it's at. But Scott is
That's some track action, actually.
Alright, we're getting some drivers out in intermediates just for a wee feel, because this could be the qualifying free conditions. Crush says I wasn't sure, didn't want to say the word country and you'd get offended. Honestly, mate, I would be offended if you said I was anything else that was no Scottish. So I can understand that, to be fair. I mean, we've got like a beautiful love-hate relationship between the two UK nations, but it's basically hate, but we just don't.
Yeah, I heard Riggs was hard Brexit.
Oh. Alright, mate. We all 62%, so I'll say, mate. But no, Scotland were just massively no in favour of that at all whatsoever. But honestly, Crush, if you want to come whereabouts, I'm from the west coast of Scotland. Just a few miles outside Ayr, if you can Ayr. It's a nice wee coastal village on the west coast. So I'm for that part. That's why the accent's quite thick. I think the accent actually is Glaswegian. So I'm also from the west coast if you're one of them. Just don't come chapping my door. You'll be getting told where to go. Everybody's kind of saying press F for Craig. That was Craig just damaging the front wing on the way out. Steve says
Crush asks, is it Riggs and who else on comms? And then literally the next thing he said was Merck, so he answered his own question. Which is interesting.
Like, who's that? Who's that alongside Riggs? Oh, it's Max. Oh, just kind of answering your own question.
Best pal,
there,
Max.
Nah, it's my best pal. Me and Max are good pals. We're good mates. We used to be former teammates too, but that wasn't the highlight of our friendship, I'll say. But you hate us, we love Andy Murray. Everybody loves Andy Murray, but you love him that much.
I love Andy Murray, mate.
Yours.
Andy Murray is my idol.
Andy Murray, like, honestly, Max looks up to Andy Murray as if he's some kind of god.
Well, he is,
did the sound just cut out? No, mate, I've not heard any sound issues there, but Andy Murray, man, like, what a guy. But, honestly, there is a good few, like, Scotland's a good place, mate. If you want to wear it on, that's where I'm from, so I was just answering your question there. Got to look and see what other track action we've got. We've got Dark Zen on the inners as well. He's coming in as well.
Getting some practice Q3 by the looks of it.
Definitely seems to be the case. But I think with just over 1 minute remaining in the session, the rain does continue to get heavier and the umbrellas are out in force. Most of the fans will be looking for some form of shelter for the final session. As far as we are led to believe, this is the only rain we'll see in Division 3. We are led to believe that it's a dry race. But this is the only rainfall yet, and it has put an early halt to qualifying 2, as we see Scott Laney, Paul, Fathercon and Craig being the 4 drivers eliminated from the second qualifying session.
They get fresh tyres, so let's see. We'll see what their best time is on. So we'll have Zenon, Gareth, Neelix, Scott, the big fella, all starting on softs, and Lewis, Hicklin, Nedclaw, Original, and John C are starting on mediums. So there's a split in the top 10. for softs and mediums.
And on the subject of tyres, Mercs, you'll probably have a better grasp of the knowledge on this more than what I would do, but what is the main strategy here at Brazil in terms of tyre choice and tyre selection?
Is a one-stop softs to mediums. Obviously, you can go mediums to softs if you like. But yeah, for track position and all that, start on softs, pit about lap 10 to, let's say, roughly 14, that sort of window. And then go mediums to the end, and they'll comfortably make it. Obviously, safety cars can throw up lots of curveballs, but yeah, I say hards can go the whole race distance as per usual. So yeah, that is
So
you're up to date with the strategy. I'd say
safety car can.
yeah, I'd say
Information.
softs to mediums would be the optimal.
So it is definitely a soft to mediums. The tyre degradation levels aren't they as severe as I initially thought they would be. And what the main irony in that is if there's one piece of like track trivia that I actually know in terms of the track itself is I remember Martin Brundle talking about it like years ago. Like the track is always like it's quite ironic now because we were sitting in qualifying talking about how we saw a real lack of grip from some of the drivers on the circuit, whether it be just general traction on the exit of slow turns, or if it was just the actual rear end grip that they were getting through the high speed turns. Like Martin Brundle's always said, there's always grip somewhere on the track, but we've definitely no seen that statement held in a high regard because there has been plenty of moments where we've seen a lot of drivers fishtailing and tank slapping, coming out of turns and coming like into hard braking zones. So I kind of like turn one, there's like grip all across the board there. So I won't be too surprised to see drivers trying the brave and audacious into turn one, because I feel that's where the main overtaking points, the main overtaking opportunity is going to be, is turn one.
Yeah, and
But
then down into turn 4 for the second go at it. Yeah, you certainly see see a majority of moves into turn 1, and then turn 4 will be the next overtaking zone as we start to see drivers start their intermediate laps in Q3. I reckon they'll be in the, trying to think what lap round here in intermediates. I think it's around the 120 mark. I'm not too sure. We'll see. I think the big fella has backed out anyway. So
yep, the
Zenon
big fella
will be
and
the one to watch.
on turn two. Who are you on board with just now, Max?
On with
as well.
Dark Zenon.
Right, we'll jump on with Dark Zenon as well. He will be the first person to put in an official lap in this session as the car slides through turn 6. As he comes into the braking zone, the conditions aren't really helping him hook up these apexes. You can let your car run a bit wide there and not really fully clip that on entry, but on exit you want to clip it because it means you're going to have a straight run up to this turn here, and this is the turn where the traction is really going to be a real issue as they go a wee bit of the curb on the left side there, which really doesn't help the traction all that much, and it's really easy to spin there as he comes through the final turn, and he's only got the steep incline to the hill left. As the rain actually looks a bit lighter and the sun once again is breaking through. All the fans on the right hand side there will be pushing him on up to the line, maybe fin a few tenths in there as well. It's a 1:18.4.
Yeah, don't forget about my 120. I was completely wrong.
Not quite the 120, but it is close enough there. As we're still
118.2.
Lewis goes fastest, and at 18.2, Hickman splits the pair of them there.
17s if we're lucky. Check says all through Q3. Yes, well, by the looks of it, yes. And it did start raining at the end of Q2. And it looks like the rain is set in for the rest of this session, and we get an intermediate shootout for pole position. And at the moment, that is Lewis with an 18.2.
Oh, and Gareth's invalidated right at the end of the lap there.
18.7 it would have been. How did he invalidate you?
He went on the wee bit of tarmac between the pit lane entry and the actual racetrack, so he's just took a wee bit too much there. And what's going to be detrimental for his run is that it's invalidated the next lap, so this lap's not going to count either. So Gareth, will need to go round again. But the big fella's going to come up to the line as we see the Williams coming into the pits. Big fella's up into fourth. The L's coming across as we see Originals up to fifth.
Ferrari of Scott coming towards the line. He's out of deployment, closely followed by the Alfa Romeo. Oh, Alfa Romeo
and what?
On provisional
by
barest of margins.
38 thousandths of a second there between the two on the front row. Just under 7 minutes remaining. I think this is on, Max. I think this is anything but over. And as the drivers are going round the track in these conditions, it's actually creating a very faint dry line. I don't think there's going to be a real manic shift onto the dry tyres again, but that really puts Scott just completely just
wow.
To go a wee bit
okay, I've just gone on board with him.
So Scott's just deciding to redesign the track there, cutting most of turn 8. As we see the big fella backing off the lap. I don't really know if he's gone for another lap here, Max. I don't think I'm really behind what he's doing, but everybody seems to be going at a bit like snail's pace.
Everyone's going really slow. I think Original's out of fuel.
They're out of fuel.
And the big fella's trying to get out of the way of everyone.
He's out of fuel day.
Oh,
and he's disqualified.
Oh no.
He's still on the grass though.
How was that in a dangerous location? I guess this one just... Oh no. That's a disaster for Ferrari. Unbelievable.
Definitely know what was in the script for Scott. But Scott is disqualified, parked in a dangerous location. Darcy gets a slide on through the final turn again. And
wait till this car. His car's still driving around, so at least get out of the way. Eventually. There we go. Now it's pulled off to the side. So that's now out of the way. But yeah, that was bizarre to say the least.
I jumped off Scott, and I was just assuming Scott was going to come back on the track and also drive back to the pits or restart a new lap. As Darkzen improves on his first sector time there, but I thought Scott was just going to come back on the track, and then the next thing I knew he was disqualified, and I was like, alright, okay, alright then. But
Neelix
says welcome to my world. Scott.
Neelix is second up at the moment. See what he does.
Up by a second. A 119.
So only 6 fastest.
He's being outshined or outshone. He's been outshone by his teammate, the big fella. Big fella's a 10 faster.
Oh, Zenon's up by over 4 tenths of a second. This would put him into the 1:17s if he can round off the lap. Seems to have got a decent exit at the final corner. I say he got a decent exit. He didn't get a decent exit in the end, and he only goes second fastest. Wow, there's a lot of people putting F in the chat for Scott, but yeah.
F for my boy Scott. I don't even know. He just cut the corner, and then the next thing we knew he was disqualified. I jumped off him to go and see who was it? I went to see Jonesy, because Jonesy was on the lap, and then I was just filtering through the rest of the leaderboard there, and then I've seen Scott's qualify, but Scott's starting 10th at best though.
Let's have a look at Lewis. Lewis
and
is
Lewis goes
on pole.
a 1:17.956 puts him as the pole position man. It puts him as the sole driver in the 17s. Lewis has definitely laid down the gauntlet in these final minutes as he lets the Mercedes of
Gareth. Oh, wow, that's close. Gareth just misses out as it stands. Oh, that is tantalisingly close. 17 milliseconds.
Oh, that is close.
Oh, Zenden's in.
Lost it.
That's it for him, I think. It for the Haas boys as well.
I don't think they'll get him back out in time. It's probably a fuel concern for the Williams team and the Williams driver there. I don't think Zen would have had enough fuel to go again. Zenon had a real shot and a real opportunity to get himself into the 17s, but a slow third sector only put him a hundred shy of Jonesy's time.
Hicklin's in.
Place.
Lewis is in.
I'm on the originals and he's still out on a lap, car number 96. In the second sector, he's on a lap at the minute. He is currently 8th place in the qualifying session, and he's coming through to the third sector delta time there. He's up by 6/10 of a second, which should put him on the same row as his teammate Hicklin, as the big fella retires for the session. Hicklin's retired for the session, and we've got drivers in the pits, so most of the drivers
coming out.
This has got to be very nip and tuck for the Williams driver.
I don't think he's going to make it. No way is he going to make that. Surely
Originals does actually pip his teammate in amidst the chaos there, and up into 5th. Jonesy and Gareth are out on laps at the minute, but Dark Zenon is on with a race against the timer, and whether or not he's got, I don't think he's making that much. He's only halfway in the second sector and he's got 35 seconds left. If he's at maybe 20 seconds before he comes up the hill, he'll be fine. I'm starting to actually think he might be. Straight.
I don't think so.
This is very fine. This is very fine, ladies and gentlemen. We don't know what's going to happen. This is purely Dark Zenon against the stopwatch here. 10 seconds on the clock. I think he's making this mix. He's just making it. This is a cat's whisker away from being eliminated. 3 seconds.
What's Gareth do? He doesn't
Gareth
make
comes
it.
across the line.
He does make it.
Gone, no?
Zaxxon's gone wide.
Oh, he's invalidated. He's invalidated anyway. Dark Zenon's invalidated as well, so 4th best for him. Lewis OD as the pole position man as it stands. I don't think Dark Zenon and Gareth are allowed to improve because they've got the red track on my screen, so they've invalidated. Their laps will not count towards the final timing screen. Gareth will be on the front row alongside Lewis and the Renault, so it's a Renault McLaren front row. Renault powered engines as well. Jonesy sits 3rd for Alfa Romeo. A very strong showing there for the Alfa Romeo driver and the team. Dark Zenon, the newly crowned SLR Division 3 champion, 4th fastest. The 2 Mercedes of Originals and Hicklin on the 3rd row respectively. Big fella getting the edge on Neelix there in the Haas, so it's double Mercedes, double Haas, 7 and 8. Ned Claw in 9th place with a 1:19.5, and Scott with a disqualification next to his name for being parked in a dangerous location will be starting 10th. I'm reading through the chat.
Yeah, right. So that means we would like to see some race predictions. We never got around to pole predictions. I'm pretty sure we did exactly the same thing last week.
We did.
So
we did.
Race predictions for the Brazilian Grand Prix in Division 3 within the next 5 minutes or so.
Well, I'm going to put my predictions. I'm going to put my prediction that Lewis is going to get pole.
That is a
I think that's how
great
that's going to
prediction.
go. Thanks. I thought that was quite accurate. I thought the front three were going to be Lewis, Gareth, and Jonesy. That was what I was going to say as well. So I'll take that. I'm going to use this short interval. You can use this short interval. Sorry, to go and stretch your legs, toilet break, get yourself a nice wee cup of tea, nice bit of toast or chocolate or whatever you fancy. You can feel free to pitch your predictions for the race, give us your top three, give us your fastest lap if you're brave enough. Give us any questions, and myself and Max will be here to answer, as well as Fritz van Bosch joins the session late, so he will be here in the race and will be starting at the back. Pole position man, as we're just covering there, is Lewis, OD, Gareth on the front row there, Jonesy, Brennan, Originals, Hicklin, the big fella, Neelix, Nedclaw and Scott are your top 10 for the Division 3 Brazilian GP. Obviously at this moment's an interval. I'll definitely still be here. I've not got anywhere else to be at the minute. I don't know if Merckx will be taking a break or if he's going to be here alongside me during this interval.
No, I'll stay here.
Me and Merckx will be here, so any questions, queries, chats, feel free to fire them in, and we'll answer them to the best of your ability. I quickly noticed that Chris was saying something about come to Glasgow. Come to Glasgow, mate. It's a beautiful place. Don't read into it too much because all that is not true. It's so much better than how the negative people put it. Andy Murray is ours, Steve-O, so do not even start me on that particular argument. Everybody was quite proud for Jonesy. There was a big chat moment for Jonesy, who is going to start third. F for Scott's disqualification. Scott says this game sometimes, and everybody is. I mean, it's just a wee chat between Scott and Orange Crush there. Better get ready for a come from behind to win. Good luck to. Scott says good luck to everybody. Good luck to everybody. Hope we can see another exhilarating Division 3 race, because all of them at best give us something to shout about, scream about, talk about. I feel like the league, in terms of the entertainment factor, and also in terms of competitiveness, is actually really good for that. Jam says get in there, Lewis. So Jamham is Bono for this moment in time. P1 Sebastian P1 for Owen Hill as well. So we're just channeling our race engineers. I think obviously Jamham being Bono, that's the more obvious one there, and I think P1 was P1 Sebastian's Rocco for these Red Bull days. So so we're kind of just channeling our inner race engineers at the moment, as the drivers are taking a short interval to obviously get themselves set up and accustomed to the long race ahead. It's a 36 lap race around the Sao Paulo circuit, situated in the centre of Sao Paulo as well. So, can we have fun it? Right, it sounds a bit stupid and off topic, right? But see, Sao Paulo, it's actually like really in the south of Brazil. Like, I thought it was up where Rio and that was.
Yeah, it's down the bottom towards the.
I didn't ken that. I thought it was right up where Rio and that was. Like, well, no, like right next to Rio de Janeiro, but like along that coastline a bit further north. I thought it was north, but it's actually south. I ken that's just a bit random and a bit of a deviation for the actual like topic of Formula One, but I found that out the other day there, and I was actually quite interested in it.
Yeah, and it's in the hills as well.
Aye.
Well,
There's a
unless
lot
you're Brazil is a very, for lack of a better word, hilly place.
It's a very hilly place. It's a very hilly place indeed. It's got a lot of elevation, and I think that is, alongside the unpredictability of the weather, the elevation of the circuit is a true characteristic that stands out as Brazil's main identity as a racetrack. So, like there's tracks that I don't know. There's just tracks that don't have any elevation or any like kind of also your hilly places, but like I think track elevation really brings a track to life. Like, and I don't know if that's if you share the same opinion or you have a different one, but like see, and I mean I'm only going to pick on it because it's the first one in my mind, but like see Russia, like Russia doesn't have that same level of elevation. It's just a consistent flat.
I was thinking about actually. I was going to mention Russia when exactly what you were talking about
that. And it's just so lifeless as a circuit. And I mean, I don't want to sit and bash on Russia because Russia could be somebody's favourite track, and I don't want to make them feel bad for an opinion. But like the track, I think it needs elevation for it to have a bit of an identity or a bit of character. It needs to show great character. In the famous words of Brendan Rodgers, but it needs to have great character, and I think like that's one way you're like actually getting that out there. But also the weather as well. Like there's very few circuits like Brazil that have that intimidating element of Mother Nature at work, because anything can happen. Like it's like here, it's like Spa is another place that's really bad for just the rain coming in and turning the race on its head. Malaysia was another one too. I miss Malaysia as well. Like Malaysia's like one of my personal favourites. Like I really love Malaysia. I'm trying to think really what else. I mean, I'd say China as well. Like there's quite a few tracks that actually have a real element of surprise when it comes to the weather.
USA.
And the USA as well. Honestly, the most surprising one I'm going to say here was Abu Dhabi, because I played career mode on this for the first time, and in my first season I had rain at Abu Dhabi in the race for the full race, and I was like, alright then, okay. But
not something you see every day.
Exactly, it's not something you can toot your own horn about there, but while we're sitting here talking about race tracks and elevation and character and that, Lewis is going to lead us on the formation lap, and I'm going to get all the delta times, the delta feed on my my screen here, because I didn't have it for a bit of Q2 to put it up, so I'm going to have it here now before I forget.
So we have some action in the chat. We've got Lewis OD's Barmy Army from Elliot. Ranga says, come on Craig. Smoke says, come on Alpha. And then Ranga says, and Jonesy as well. And then Owen says, let's go ladies. Bringing the tone down a little bit.
Yep. Making it more inclusive for all. So Max, quick fire prediction. Who is your top three?
Top three, I'm gonna say Gareth for the win, Original in second, and Neelix in third.
Brave, but I like it. I like a bit of risk, Max. I'll probably kind of jump on board with that, but make a few tweaks. I'll probably say that Gareth can still go for the win. I think Neelix will get second, and I'm going to chuck another one out there and say after his disqualification, Scott could get third, but I think Dark Zenon might maybe give him a run for that. So I think Scott, who is really known for his starts, can really get himself up there in the early stages, so it's just a matter of how the race starts.
Tyres as well.
Not just the Ferrari, and the tyre management is another.
I've just looked at the tyres actually. We've got two drivers starting on the hard compound tyres of Deadpool and Father Corn, and then we've got the 4 of the top 6 starting on the medium compound tyres. And
the racing line is on a hill climb here as the drivers get themselves suited and booted, foot on the pedal, on the clutch as well, waiting for the 5 lights to show, and there they are on. We're at the 4th light, we're at the 5th light, cars are revving, lights are out, and we are racing here in Sao Paulo as Ned Claw leaves the session. Gareth gets a great start up the inside, and Lewis there, and the McLaren takes the lead there, an easy lead into turn 1 there for Gareth. Jonesy keeps his P3, but he's got Dark Zenon running the outside of 2, who goes wide and takes the position off track there, and Jonesy retakes it once again. Mercedes stay 5th and 6th there, Haas stay 7 and 8 there as well. Quite a lot of shifting at the back there. Lewis retakes the lead at the front of your screens there. And we've got Scott Laney making a place on Scott, so that's the battle for the bottom end of the points as a Haas of the big fellas ghosted. Fritz has left the session there. Scott side by side. Scott makes it round the outside, and he's got the big fellas ghost in the inside there. Scott there's going to have Craig for company soon enough, and we'll ride on board with the Alfa Romeo through the second sector there. Looking at the position changes, any big ones we can see of note. Zach's Beast is up 7 places, so 19th up to 12th already, Mercs. Brilliant start there for the Red Bull, who started in the back row.
Absolutely flying. To try and get the big fella back in.
Zach's Beast, definitely. And he's up 8 places, Mercs. I ken also the big fella's place was just granted to him on a silver platter there, but Zach definitely on a mission there as Lewis completes the first lap as the race leader. And we're going to see some side-by-side action into turn 1. Jonesy and Dark Zenon. Zenon's gone for the switchback here. Jonesy's a bit exposed as he comes round turn 3, but Zenon's going to have a bit of a run, and he's up the inside already. He's opted no for the slipstream, so he's confident in his own car's straight line speed there in the clear air. Jonesy leaving the door wide open for the Williams driver up the inside there. Originals is getting right in on this too. So free battle here between Dark Zenon coming back on the track there has really put the halt on Original there, who's lost a place to his teammate as Hicklin slides past up into 5th. So I don't know if Dark Zenon just kind of got in the way of the the Mercedes driver of Original there, and let Hicklin through, or there was maybe some team play there. But also big notice. My speech all over the place now. Craig up 5 places, Zach's up 8 places, Sprightly's up 4, Crush is up 3, Teddy's up 2, the big fella's doing 8, but that's due to his connection. Sprightly's under pressure here. Anything else we can really see? We're having a big train form. Side by side action, sorry Max, just to cut across, is Jonesy and Dark Zenon's a side by side. Zenon's got the inside this time. Jonesy will have it for turn 2 and retakes the place here, and DRS is now enabled. This makes it all the more exciting here. DRS is open for the Williams driver here, so Jonesy's going to have to defend. He chooses to stay on the main racing line. Will sit on board with Jonesy, who leaves the door open for Dark Zenon. Jonesy runs wide and laying on the space, and Dark Zenon gets a bit too much of the curb on the inside of 5, and if you take too much of that curb on the inside, you can say goodbye to your car, because it goes from 1 piece to 100 pieces. It's a really unstable
Scott Laney's made a move.
A bit.
Originals lost a couple of positions.
And that was a bit brave, and Scott Laney's gone for it this time again, and he takes too much of the curb, and this might give Originals a look on the Toro Rosso here. Scott Laney looking a bit all over the shop here at the moment as he kind of outbreaks himself on the final turn again, and this is going to give Originals a run.
There's a big train at the moment. There's a bit of a lead going on though. Gareth is not quite there.
And one battle for the lead there between Lewis and Gareth will sit on board the battle between Originals and Scott Laney. As Original goes round the outside, and Scott Laney retakes the place round the outside of 2, and Craig takes him there as well as the Mercedes gets out of shape there. I'm saying Williams too much for these Mercedes, so I don't know which rang here now, but Scott sitting in 10th at the minute. Doesn't really lose any places, but hasn't really gained either. Scott's quite known, as I was saying in the build-up, he's known to have a great launch off the start, but I think other drivers just really had an upper hand there and got a great launch. One person who has a great start so far is Zach, as we were quickly noting there, is up 8 places already. And I'm sitting here thinking, he's up 8 places, but he's 11th. So he'd have to have started 19th. So I don't know.
I think Nedcore had left the session as Big Fella has now rejoined, thankfully. His disconnect obviously dropped him a lot of positions, so hopefully he can fight back. Dark Zenon is now on the back of the Alfa Romeo. That Alfa Romeo, Jonesy has DRS as well, so it's going to be hard to overtake unless he goes for a lunge, and I think he will on lap 5. No, he will think better of that. It's going to get carried along by Hicklin. There's a battle in the background going on.
and
I think,
Craig makes his way past Scott Laney there,
yeah.
and Scott Laney's under pressure for Original. Original's going to go up the inside into turn 4, trying to outbreak the Toro Rosso on the inside. Mediums versus soft tyres, Toro Rosso versus Mercedes, as Originals gives Scott
Here
Laney a
comes the
little bit of a
Ferrari.
shove there, and Scott's going to take the place off the Mercedes on the inside of turn 6. So Scott puts himself between Scott Laney and Originals, picks up the pieces there, as Originals did look a bit out of shape, and maybe a slight tap there between himself and Scott Laney, and that's allowed Scott and the Ferrari just to slide on in this battle. So yellow flags in the second sector, and it's the big fella. The big fella's binned it, and there's a virtual safety car. Paul picks up a 5-second time penalty for exceeding track limits, assumedly under safety car conditions, or virtual safety car conditions. As Scott Laney spun under virtual safety car conditions on the final turn. Scott Laney's on the grass.
Yeah. That's big mistake for Toro Rosso.
And Scott Laney, who was
visions.
running really well there in the lower end of the points, is now in 14th place. But the virtual safety car has really allowed Gareth to be on the rear wing of Lewis here.
See
so
if
Gareth,
people can get the jump on the cars ahead. Zenon is definitely looking on the back. Hickman gets a drive for the penalty for speeding. Oh, that's disaster for the Mercedes.
And Hicklin was starting to really look like a bit of a dark horse here, sitting in third. We never really touted him for a strong race result here. We had our podium set out, and Hicklin was nowhere near a mention, but Hicklin was looking really good once he got past Jonesy, and he's been slapped down with a drive-through for speeding under the safety car. As Dark Zenon's getting a bit too close for comfort there, and we were sitting just talking about the VSC there. Gareth wasn't able to put the jump on Lewis on that restart, and if anything, the gap
is now going to come in. Zenon's going to be easily up the inside.
Side by side.
Yeah.
Zenon takes the place. Jonesy, though, will be able to shape his car in a perfect place for a fight back here, but Dark Zenon gets a really good run.
Oh, Gareth on the outside.
And
oh, he's not made it, unfortunately.
And we'll sit on board here, and he looks really confident. Lewis is putting the Renault right in the middle of the circuit there to try and shut off all the avenues there for the McLaren driver, making it an impossible job, and that Renault as wide as it possibly can. Works team versus customer team here at the front on lap 7 of 36. Gareth versus Lewis, McLaren versus Renault, both Renault powered.
A battle for the lead.
You definitely do. It definitely brings this real burst of energy and excitement into the race. I mean, it's been exciting up and down the field, but when it's for the lead, that's when you know the stakes are high and the pressure is on. And Gareth looking to make gains, and there's Plain Teddy.
Oh no.
I think he might have maybe just got a bit too much of the exit curb off the turn, whatever that one is, and just the car just went round and spun.
Neelix just lost the back end in the braking zone. Oh, Craig almost around the outside. But Gareth...
Is Gareth got to try and get on the outside again? Lewis resumed the racing line there.
He needs the inside.
I mean, the outside is the last place you want to also run the outside anyway. Is the last place where you want to make the move. But when I watched there, Lewis resumed the racing line, but the gap that he left could have been a bit questionable there. Again, you can leave a car's width on the outside if you resume the racing line, but it kind of did pinch Gareth a wee bit on the outside there. So getting a wee bit too close for comfort here. Gareth will really need to step biding his time, but at the same time, they're on two completely different tyres here, and Gareth needs clear air, or at the very least, to try and undercut in this upcoming pit window.
Yeah, I've noticed that the Dark Zenon has pulled away from Jonesy. Freeman pointed out Steve-O in the points, and yes, he is holding one singular point at the moment with the fast Merc of Hicklin behind him, and that is a Ferrari of Sprightly round, or off the track I should say, in the middle sector. Just rejoining the track now.
As one Ferrari spins and have misfortune in the second sector, the other Ferrari was put under severe pressure there for the Mercedes, but I think Originals just backed off and gave him the place back, so the battle for 7th really starting to heat up here in lap 9 of 36, Scott versus Original, Ferrari versus Mercedes. It's a very recent battle for the ages, both in the game and in the tyres. I think he's crashed.
Is it a safety car?
That's the full safety car there. We'll jump on board with Lewis to see what happened to Sprightly. We'll see Sprightly's car. It looks like it's on the inside, which it is. So I don't know what Sprightly's done.
Lewis says,
Lewis makes a late call and Gareth and Bob! What's that? Oh, you can't do that, Lewis. You can't do that. That is.
He's got a 5-second time penalty for hitting and speeding in the pit lane, so he's got a double whammy of penalties there.
Oh, you can't do that, Lewis. That's a very bold, very late call to come in. So Renault have completely just shot themselves. Like, you know how the saying goes, to shoot themselves in the foot? Like, I don't think the foot is enough of an emphasis to describe how much they've actually, like, just put themselves in the back foot there. Like, it wouldn't have hurt Lewis to go round again and avoid a penalty.
Yeah, that was too late to come in the pits. He only has himself to blame for that one, and he is now on the soft compound tyre, so he will have to stop again.
But what this has actually done, Mercs, if I'm looking at this right, you were saying in the build-up, it's a simple one-stop soft to mediums, mediums to soft, like however way you chose to do it. But Gareth's opted for the hards to the end. And Lewis is on the soft, so he needs to stop again.
And even Zenon as well on the medium tyres. So he's going to be... He's probably going to be fighting Gareth for the lead, and probably won't have that much trouble getting past him on the different compound of tyres.
There's a wee bit of tyre deviation here. We're seeing some softs, we're seeing some mediums, and we're even seeing some hard tyres. No light result to see some hard tyres, but here we are. The chat is looking a bit active. Everybody's obviously on the same boat as us in terms of Lewis's late call to the pits. But also, a familiar face has rejoined us in the chat in the name of Youngie, who used to actually race in this league. I don't know what happened to him, but he has opted to pop in and pay a wee visit here, and the chat is absolutely blew up about that. He says, I miss everybody but know the game. I mean, I don't know. I feel like the game, in some senses, does get a wee bit of, it gets a bit too much hate, but at the same time, like, there is bits of the game that they need some drastic uplifting. Like, I can understand it, but at the same time, I don't understand it, if you can know what I mean.
Yeah.
Like there is, I mean, obviously I love the game, like I really enjoy it, whether I'm driving in it or when I'm commentating or whatever, but there is just times where the game does get like some hate, and I mean, you'll ken this yourself, Mercs. We've like there's been times where we've sat and talked about the safety car, and we've seen it on social media and how the frequency of the safety car is unrealistic. I mean, for Sprightly's accident, I feel a safety car was a perfectly right call, because that's a flat out bit of the track. Like, safety car's actually in on this lap, so the safety car wasn't even
quick.
As
I've seen Lewis almost drive into the back of Gareth, and he seems to be attracted to the McLaren at the moment. Crash gets a penalty.
We'll sit on board with Jonesy, who's going to be the race leader, and takes us away as we see Hicklin just jump out of line there, nearly hit the arm coat on the inside, but Jonesy leads us away as we get back under racing conditions here, and there's going to be a big Constantina fight into turn one, as we're going to see Gareth making places, and Hicklin's lost some places there. The racing point of Paul's up the inside. Hicklin's ran wide. You'll need to watch. Careful re-entry. Yep, he's got himself carefully back on the track there, but Hicklin's lost a few places there. As he was running up with Gareth and Lewis, and he's up in 8th. Speaking of Lewis and Gareth, they two are gone side by side. Hammer and tongs again. Lewis up round the outside. Gareth's got the inside. Lewis tries and holds it round the outside, and he makes it stick. A brilliant move, but Gareth's got the inside. Lewis is going to have the inside for turn 8, and both of them side by side through the second sector. Gareth can he hold it round the outside there, and Lewis from turn 6 round the outside makes the move on Gareth. A brilliant move there. The Renault driver. Definitely make these feelings known, and he kens he's a hard fighter there as well.
Excellent move. Zennon's going to have a look as well. I don't think he'll be able to make the move unless he has a superior run. So look, Lewis is already making another move. Will Zennon have a look? I think he will. Is there side-by-side action? Oh, Zach gets forced off.
And Gareth's going to keep it. Oh, he's getting tried. Oh, and that was close there. With Zennon and Gareth. Gareth tried to keep the place up through turn 2, but Dark Zennon gave him a perfect pinch on the apex there and was able to keep the place round the outside of 2 and take the place of 3. But if there's one person...
Scott and Neelix are in the pits again.
Oh, and Scott and Neelix, what's happened there? Have they just made contact and we've not seen it?
No, I didn't see, unless they had 2 separate incidents by themselves, of course.
Absolutely no idea what's happened there, but I mean, if there's one driver I'm actually kind of wanting to call out and probably compliment a wee bit even more is Zach. Still out in the soft tyres that he started on originally, 4th at the moment, but if he pits now in the pit window, he can continue the normal strategy for soft mediums and probably not be affected too much. Zach is beast and Zach gone side by side. Dark Zennon's going to have to go round the long way here and makes it stick before the braking zone. Lewis and Ridgewell's in front.
Oh, he's made the move again. Lewis around the outside of turn 1, and there's a battle in the background, I think, as well, between Barbacore and Scott Laney.
And I think Lewis is in this mentality that he knows he needs to put the foot down. This is his time. He needs to make the moves and make the places. He's like a hot knife through butter now, as he's cutting his way through the field. And he's only got Jonesy standing in the way between himself and the net lead. But Lewis does have 2 penalties to serve.
Scott's in again.
Scott, what's happening, son?
He's just in the pit lane every single lap at the moment.
Scott, you don't... Racing, when you're racing, you stay out on the track. That's not the racing line, mate. But I don't know what's happening there. He is out right next to Orange Crush, though, and does look to make the place on the Red Bull. As Lewis takes the lead off Jonesy. Original slips through there as well. Jonesy... What's happened to Jonesy? Oh, and he's in the pits. I was about to say, like, if he's just losing place, his hands have a fist in it. What's happened? Like...
He could have taken those mediums way further than that. What's he going to put on? He's going to put on hard compound tyres. Conservative one-stop.
That's very conservative there in my opinion. I think I share the same opinion with you there, Merx. I think that's a very conservative, safe strategy there to get him on the one-stop and to get him to the end. I mean, I think like the end of the day it does really come down to tyre management as well. Like they say like, oh, it's a one-stop, soft to medium speed, soft. But like there is times where like tyre management and how people actually drive the car is completely different. Like I think like also drivers drive the car completely differently, whether it's like more aggressive exits or like really hard braking or that. Like anything, really, any small variable comes down to impacting the tyre management and tyre strategy, tyre wear, whatever. Anything to do with the tyres, it gets massively affected by any simple and minute factor. So maybe who we talk about? Maybe Jonesy, actually, that's who it was. Jonesy is just a bit insecure about his own driving ability in terms of tyre management, so he is opting for the conservative one-stop. Like, there is a lot of interest there. There's a McLaren gone slow. Gareth has gone really slow through turn 3 there, and Zach had to go around the outside there from what I could see. Paul was up to make a move, but Paul was under pressure. Hicklin's up the inside at turn 4. Hicklin makes the place. A wee train of 5. Zach is beast is tyre life has definitely seen the end of its days as Gareth has a wee lock up the inside of turn 6, but that's really put him on the back foot for the Mercedes. A heckling behind, and this is where it gets a bit tighter, because it means any small mistake means you can lose a lot of time and a lot of track position. So Zaka's beast with a 15 lap old soft tyres really becoming a bit of a
train.
well chicane, and the well-known truly train. He's starting to become one of them.
Oh wow, Gareth!
And he's spun! And he's lit up the rails!
I think Gareth may have hit him. I'm not 100% sure on that. But he was very slow into the apex, and that has set Zak. All his good work has just been done in the space of a flash before his eyes, and that is him all the way down into 12th place and into the pit lane.
Zak really was looking to be another dark horse in this race, but that spin's definitely put him on the back foot with a lot more work today. Williams, a further corner the inside of Paul. Paul makes it easy for him on the inside there and lets Father Con go. Gareth up into 5th. Huz heckling in front. Dark Zenon's right on the rear.
Yeah, so
Originals in this second sector.
About to mention that. We've had some chat action as well. Everyone talking to Youngie. With Baggy fans joined us. Southerners has said the stream has got more viewers than Callum Ilott. And then Baggy fans said Callum Ilott is a B-Tech SLR. And then Tosh says, come on Lewis OD.
And while the chat action is gone, Dark Zenon's making yet another move on the circuit, running outside the original into
Higgins on the grass.
Sorry,
original's on the grass. Wrong Mercedes.
And Hecklin's picked up a penalty for speeding in the pit lane. So that's, and Craig's picked up a penalty there as well. So penalties really kind of coming in their bundles here. Looking at the tyre strategy, Lewis is our race leader at the moment, but he's served one of his penalties. He served one of them, didn't he?
Yeah.
He said, because he got a penalty for coming into the pit lane late, and then he got a penalty for speeding.
What, Lewis?
Yep.
He's definitely served at least one of those.
He does have another one to serve.
We'll see.
So,
Dorsey says, has Craig lost his front right end plate? Yes, he has.
Let me see. Yep, yes he has. He's got no front right end plate on that Alfa Romeo. So he's going to have a real issue when
Steve-O. He's gone for a bit of dirt rally there through the final corner.
And the dirt rally also picked him up a 3-second time penalty there as he goes round Gareth Paul, and his teammate Gareth is being overtaken by Father Con. So this is quite interesting now because Lewis is definitely pitting again. He needs to pit. These soft tyres quite simply won't make it. Mediums, can they make it at a stretch?
Yep. 100% they'll make it to the end.
So Zenon will really need to...
This is Zenon's to lose, I think.
Definitely. I think Zenon is in a prime position here. I think Gareth might have went a wee bit too conservative with the hard tyres, but I mean, again, it might just come down to the whole actual tyre management element of a driver's skill set. As he's sitting in 5th at the moment. He looked very promising for the win as well. Like, I mean, we can't count out. We're only just over half distance in this race. The sun is shining here in Brazil. There is no rain for the first 19 laps, 20 laps now. There is no rain to be predicted or expected at all in this race. So it's a completely dry race. So there is going to be no real moment of panic in mania in the pit lane for intermediates or wets or whatever. There's nothing like that going to be happening to our knowledge and to our telemetry. So this is all going to have to be on track and on strategy. Jonesy, who done really well in qualifying, as we see Terry gone wide at turn 3 there when I was just skimming through all the the onboards there. Jonesy sitting in 10th at the moment. Where's Ford in qualifying? Yellow flags in the front sector, and that is
Red Bull.
Looks
Orange Crush or
Crush.
It's Crush, yeah. He's right at the back and he's going to get lapped soon. I don't know why he's weaving. But yeah. He is struggling at the back here. Oh, and now he's cut the track. Okay. Anyway.
As we'll sit on board Orange Crush and we'll see what's happening. He has gone really slow, he's just coasting at this rate. For what we can see there, but luck on board Dark Zenon, who's going to have the Renault in his sights, and that'll be his motivator to reel him in and attempt an overtake. But luck on board somebody as Scott Laney leaves the session. We'll sit on board with Steve-O since he's right there, and Craig's with damage. Craig turns in and Steve-O has to slam
I just
on
caught
the
the end
brake
of
there.
that. It was,
Craig was resuming his place, but Steve-O, the wise he'd there, put the brakes on and avoided contact. I think Steve-O will just be biding his time here. We said that about Gareth earlier in the race, we'll say that about Steve-O and the other McLaren here as well. Craig does have front wing damage, so Craig, maybe in my opinion, shouldn't really be putting up too much of a fight for this place. I mean, it is track position and you need to do everything you can to defend it. But when you've got a damaged car,
yeah,
it really
I guess he's going to the end.
Risk. I mean, I think it's brave to go to the end on a damaged front wing. He's got 15 mil laps of a car that's just going to be understeering so much. He'll be sitting there in that cockpit like, I'm not driving a Formula 1 car, I'm driving a stagecoach bus. Like, that's just how that car's going to feel. Like, it's just going to have absolutely no front grip. It's going to have no turn-in. Like, you like to have a car that absolutely has so much grip and so much turn-in and a nice soft roll bar that helps the wheel axis turn and the steering makes it lighter and also make grippier. But while I'm sitting here talking about cars, Steve-O makes the place on Craig running the outside of turn 1 and holds it through the centre S and up into 6. And it's a McLaren 5.6 at the moment, so that's a strong showing from McLaren at this moment in time, as Hicklin makes his way past Jonesy up the inside there, Hicklin makes it round the outside, Zach picks up a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings. Is there anything else we can see on the track at this moment? I'm looking at Zach's pictures right there.
We've had some more traction saying that Baggy Fan is better than Jam. Hashtag Baggy to Elite. SLR Baggy. Yeah, he's getting all the love in here. Yeah.
It's such a welcoming community, and I mean, Baggy Fan better than Jam. I mean, Jam's honestly like, I mean, in terms of like me generally racing, in league racing, he's one of the best I've raced against. Like, I think he's an exceptionally quick driver, so to say that Baggy's better than Jam, I mean, that's a pretty bold statement in itself, but I'd pay to see that, to see if he is or not. I mean, I don't need to pay to see that, I can easily see
this is one of the best comments you'll see, from Joe Darnell. We all have our heroes. I can say mine is Hamilton, Southerner has Alonso, and Baggy Fan has Ranga.
Ranga is a real hero. But he's not on the level of Alonso. Hamilton, he can probably beat Hamilton in terms of heroes, but no Alonso. Alonso is just different gravy. But honestly, I've got so much love for Alonso. If you don't know me as a person, I absolutely love Fernando Alonso as well. He was actually doing the, I'll not ruin it for anybody, but there was a sim racing event with all the Formula 1, like all the race drivers, like for all the categories and disciplines, actually doing the 500. And he was taking part of that, so I'm looking forward to watching that when this is done. But I absolutely love Fernando Alonso, so any promising comments, any compliments towards the Spaniard will definitely be great for you in terms of my general opinion of you, because it's
we've had
some through the ceiling.
We've had a couple. Night Ranger says Alonso Joe Darnell says Alonso is overrated.
I mean, if he was overrated, he wouldn't be a two-time champion and a Renault beating the greatest,
That's what
the
he's
real
saying.
GOAT.
It's like saying Hamilton is
Um,
overrated, but he's got 6
Hamilton is
championships.
overrated. Hamilton is overrated though. But
Ah.
that's an opinion for another. That's an opinion for another stream.
It doesn't matter. Anyway, Lewis is better. Then sets the
Lewis-
fastest lap. While he does that, original pit as well. Last lap, he's on the soft top at the end.
Steve-O Disney dart in. I thought Steve-O was coming in there. Sorry, Max, just to cut across you there again. Steve-O looked like he was going to come in there with a sharp turn to the left and into the pit lane there, but he just opted to stay on the track. So maybe it was just correcting the steering. Can Joe Darnell get a timeout, because I'm not taking any comments. I'm not reading
basically, no. He's tried to. Well, he's got his shovel out anyway. He says, "No, I'm joking. Alonso is a great driver, but he isn't on the same level as Schumi, Hamilton, and Senna."
Hamilton's a poor man's Rosberg.
Oh,
I love that
Craig's onto half spin.
Oh, and Craig's on the grass there. Lewis round the outside there. Sorry, Max.
It kind of clipped
there's a Red
his
Bull.
rear, but yeah, I think
See,
it's
if
not much he could do.
here's
There's a yellow flag,
honestly,
orange crush.
see, here's something we can actually put into perspective, right? Lewis is on soft tyres. He's 5th at the minute. He's 3 seconds down for Steve-O, who's 5.5 seconds down for Gareth. See if Dark Xenon and Father Corn have a struggle to the end on name mediums. Gareth, I think, is going to be perfectly fine. Lewis is actually up to 4th, so he doesn't even need to overtake Steve-O on track. Lewis can actually still be on course for a win.
He's going to have to go some.
Pear-shaped for the Williams team.
Yeah, he's going to have to go some, but you never know. Could be a late safety car, could be anything. At this point, we've got a nice train behind Zach, I think it is. Yeah, it's Deadpool.
Zach. Oh, side by side action here into turn 1. Zach is Beast keeps the place. Paul and Scott Laney, and Scott are looking to make gains on the Red Bull. And they're going to go side by side, and they're still going side by side into turn 4. Paul's got to the inside. Zach's hard it around the outside, gets pushed wide. Zach is Beast off the track, has to come back on, but there's Scott Laney there on the outside, and Scott makes his way past, and I think Zach's starting to lag a wee bit there for me as Teddy slips through as well. Lee lag spike there for
plain
Zach,
dirty.
and that is not ideal for Red Bull.
Almost lost the whole car. But yeah, Zach has just lost the whole host position as Lewis, as you say, sets the fastest lap of the Grand Prix.
And
Catching up
that's
to
cut. And
catching up to Gareth.
And that's honestly cut 2 seconds there on that lap. If he can go at 2 seconds a lap, Max, he's right there. He is there. He is there for a podium. I don't know how quick the drop off in terms of tyre quality is in tyre life here, but if they're hitting the mid-20s, then there is definitely going to be some form of tyre conservation going. Because we can see Gareth on the far end there on that shot there, and we can see Gareth again.
We'll see yellow flag.
And that's
Orange crush.
I don't know what happened there, but the yellow flags were.
No,
yellow flags in sector 2 though, and that is for Teddy. Teddy spun on turn 4, and Hicklin's just drove right into the side of him.
Oh
Hicklin,
no!
It was right on the racing line. It was right. Teddy was facing the left wall there on the main racing line on the curb, and Hicklin just came through. Yellow flags were there, and just blindsided by the.
He's just driven straight into him. That's yeah. I don't really know what to say about that.
I mean, yellow flags are. I mean, that's actually another. That's another thing. See, like when you see yellow flags in this game, like the yellow flag rule is, if you see one yellow flag waving, it's just slow down, like, and just take care, like just watch what's happening. But the double yellow should be slowed down and prepare to stop. Like, you don't get double yellows in the game. like, but that was definitely at least a double yellow there because Teddy was on the main racing line there. Turn 4's a very quick left. Like, you're doing it in 4th gear, you're taking it maybe just over 100 mile an hour. That's a really quick turn. And Teddy was right on the outside curb there at 4. And Hicklin was just blindsided. Somehow he couldn't see a pink racing point. A pink is a very standout colour, but I think because it's a very blind turn 4 as well, you see it quite late on. I'm watching Zach Zenon through it there now, and it is quite, like, the arm code on the left side does actually come out a good bit there, so you kind of see the road quite late on. They're having an argument about Aldi's better than Lidl's. I hate to break it to you, but Aldi's a Tory shop. So don't show me.
Yeah.
But
we've had Ranga says Lewis hit Craig. They're going side by side through the double right-hander, and I think Craig understeered into Lewis with his front wing damage. It looked a little bit like that anyway. Beast says penalties are overrated. Ranga says racing without incidents is overrated. I mean, well, yeah, that's on the yellow flag in sector 2. Who's that?
I think everybody's just. I think there's just an argument about what's the best supermarkets going on in the chat.
Yeah.
I'm really digging Baggy Fancy's pound stretchers are better than them all, to be fair.
Pound stretchers.
While they're sitting arguing about what supermarket is best, we'll keep our focus on the action on the circuit. Scott is right behind Paul for the final point in this race. Scott got a bit wide there through turn 9. I'm just saying turn names, turn numbers, and hoping they're the right ones. Because I could probably say turn 9 was turn 8 and turn 8 was turn 9 or whatever. As long as you at least can where they are on the track, like, that's all that matters really. But Scott versus Paul for the final point could be a real battle that we can really sink our teeth into. And not only that, Zach is right there as well. Zach was really promising, and I was saying earlier, I don't know if Mitch was fully on board the comment about me saying he was a dark horse for the overall race result, because he was on the soft tyres after the safety car period and was up as high as 4th, and he was on course for completing the normal strategy while other drivers had to pit again. But Zach is definitely looking on the inside of Scott, and he touches Scott's right left, and the contact makes him spin. And as soon as I was sitting there singing his praises, he goes and taps the rear left, and and Zach ends up in the grass. But Plain Teddy sets the first lap of the race, so Plain Teddy just completely takes the first lap point away from Lewis. Speaking of Lewis does have Gareth in his sights.
I think it's only really about P2 at the moment. Gareth is coming back at Father Corn, and the hard seems to just be phasing in at this late stage slightly. Zenon is checked out at the front. As has been the story of this season for some of these races. But yeah, Gareth is kind of there. I mean, he's got the ghost of Hicklin for his lapped car just sitting there. Zach has retired in the pit lane, unfortunately, which is a shame, really.
Zach just had one of the races where it did really look great for him. It looked really promising for the Red Bull, and then it was just so quick. It was just completely like when you're building a house of cards and you just take the foundation away and it just comes crashing down. It was kind of just like one of the races for him after that safety car. So he's definitely one to remember.
What's this? Lewis's DRS? But his DRS wasn't open, so I wonder if he's got DRS failure.
He is definitely in the DRS zone. We'll sit on board with him here as he is right on the rear wing of Gareth. He is
DRS off Hicklin, but it never showed up. We've had some chat action, and I really can't give up with the chat. We've got Southerner saying Freeman is better than Putin. Yeah, so that's all you need to know, really.
I mean, I don't know. I wouldn't agree with that one, to be fair. But I wouldn't chuck my eggs in that basket particularly. But
We've got Lewis on the back of Gareth.
Oh, up the inside, he's got to try and outbreak the McLaren. He gives Gareth the squeeze, and Gareth wants it running outside, and Lewis is there as well, running outside it too. Keeps the place for free, and Lewis makes it stick. Both drivers there, only giving each other an inch.
Oh, Johnson's gone off the track to take his teammate, but apparently the game has allowed that. Neelix watching on. Scott on the back of the racing point as well. He's going to make the move. Goes to the outside. Can you make it stick around the outside? Oh, there's a big bit of contact.
And
let's have a look at the front wing. He has got bad damage on this front left end plate, unfortunately, after that. And I think
Paul's let him go.
Yeah, he's letting him go. He's got damage. Yeah, he's struggling. This is for the last point.
There's a particular comment in there that might tickle your fancy. There is Scott and Paul go side by side through turn 6. Paul running outside. Scott keeps the inside with a damaged front wing. Paul goes a wee bit off the track there. Scott is going to have the inside, and Paul drifts wide. Scott takes the place of Paul. This battle for the final point is really starting to heat up here as we're about to enter the penultimate lap.
So I've just put in a comment for driver of the day as Neelix around the outside of Craig. Yeah.
If you're really wanting to base your driver of the day on the amount of positions gained or lost, there is the information on that there on the left. Father Con up 11 places, Steve-O's up 9, Craig's up 6. But I mean, the game generically picks it. They picks the driver of the day through the amount of positions they gain. Just think about how they've called strategy, their general racecraft, how they've been in control, or like just anything. Like, I mean,
yeah, I think we've got.
If you want,
we've got a lot
Zenon
saying Corn, Sierra Flying Sector 2, and that is a Red Bull of Orange Crush.
Oh, Red Bull is definitely no having a race to remember. Helmut Marko's going to have the boys' heads in a stick. Like, Helmut Marko's not going to be pleased with that. Like, because it's a very temperamental environment, Red Bull. Like, it's a very challenging place to work when if you're like a big follower of the team in Formula 1. Like, it's a very challenging environment, and they're very ruthless when it comes to driver quality. And
here we go.
So,
Neelix.
Up the inside of Jonesy. Jonesy leaves the inside wide open for the Haas driver. And Neelix is just like, thanks, son. Cheers for that. I'll take that off your hands. Thanks for holding it for me. Up he goes, and he goes.
We've had Father Corn driver of the day from about 6-7 people. Some people said Zenon. Dorsey said Crush. Baggy fan said Steve-O. Yeah. Baggy fan also said been watching the chat more than the race. I mean, there has been some great chat action, as per usual, as we've got Lewis OD in the DRS, Original in the DRS, Jonesy is still within the DRS, and Steve-O's in the DRS with Craig, and it's all coming together on the final lap of the Grand Prix. Can Lewis make a move? It's now or never, but he's not close enough. Oh, he tries. Original. He gives him a love tap on the rear end.
And he's getting the squeeze. Oh no, they've touched, and the final turn, Lewis is retired! He's crashed into the wall and the tyres off! And Lewis on the final lap. And Father Corn has got damage to his left side. Oh, what was that? Oh, what was that? Oh.
Unbelievable. Can you believe it?
And it's knocked Father Corn off the podium places. And now that we've actually missed Dark Zenon taking the checkered flag. Dark Zenon.
Original's going to have a drag race to the line to Gareth for P2.
It's going to be a sprint finish here. Gareth has
He's got the DRS. He's run out of deployment, so he's not going to make it, unfortunately. And at that, maybe our podium at the moment. Father Corn comes P4 on track. And well. Lewis. I don't know. It's been a scruffy race from Lewis, really. I think that's all we really want to say at the moment. Yeah.
As we're gonna, we'll let Max catch his breath and we'll watch the rest of the drivers come across the line. Craig takes a solid P8 in the race. Scott's going to beat Paul for 9th and Paul's going to take 10th. This was the battle for the final point, but ends up both of them getting a point regardless after Lewis's final lap retirement. And we've honestly missed a lot of the final lap action there, so we can only apologise for that. But we'll show you the podium celebration in its fullest as we see Dark Zenon celebrate another race victory in SLR's 3rd division. He is a crown champion and he just continues to streak away and gather up the race wins, putting them under his belt, sharing the podium with Gareth and Originals, who are no stranger to the podium.
I've just realised how many viewers we've got.
Division 3. How many do we have?
This is 47 on here.
Oh, we're hitting the big time. I just want to, well, in that, we'll just thank you, and we greatly appreciate each and every one of you for attending and tuning in. It massively helps us out as a community. But honestly, we just are quite speechless about that. Actually, we're quite speechless about a lot of things. But I will give you a final race result here. Dark Zenon adds another one to his tally here with a dominant display in Brazil. Gareth starts 2nd, finishes 2nd. He can't complain with that. Originals up to P3. Father Con there running 2nd for so long, robbed a podium here in Division 3. Neelix had a quiet race in P5. Jonesy just went a bit backwards there, but 6 is still a strong result for him. Steve-O, the fan favourite, getting some decent points there after
good drive from him, to be fair.
On the grid. It's a very strong drive for Steve-O. The fans will be pleased, absolutely running wild for Steve-O in the chat and in the community as a general. Craig, a strong drive there for 8th. Scott started 10th, up 9th. Didn't really have the race that he wanted after making 3 stops. Paul, the Scottish 5th row there, 9 and 10. Lewis running for 2nd place there and crashing out. And then we've seen Scott Laney, and I'm looking through the stream on my phone to see who I was missing out there. So Scott Laney, heckling playing Teddy, and I honestly want to pass on the apologies for everybody else that was in the bottom end of that pecking order there, because I didn't get time to run through.
I think it was Crush was the last finisher, I think. I've forgotten it. I need to invite people onto the podium. I just realised. Who've we got? Invite Gareth.
So it's Gareth, Original, and Dark Zenon.
Okay.
And while we're going to wait on the podium drivers to come in and join us in the chat, we'll touch on the main talking point. Con did end up getting driver of the day from what we can see. So cruelly robbed there on the final lap there. Everybody kind of up in arms about Lewis's move on Father Con into on the run up to turn 6. I mean, Father Con did leave the room, but Lewis just clipped the rear tyre and into the wall he went. There was only one place that car was gone after that contact. But it does get a bit heated there because there was a wee bit of argument there in the chat. So that's a bit of there was a bit of hot under the collar there. We completely missed Dark Zenon crossing the line, so we can only apologise to him because I'm sure like the winning driver would love to have the coverage of him driving under the checkered flag, but we can only apologise for that. We got a bit too caught up in what was happening elsewhere. There is chat about...
Even I was watching what was behind me.
Honestly, with everything that was going on, man, like, nobody was really safe in that midfield or even in the front. I think the only person that was really safe was Dark Zenny, that absolutely nobody doing about him, but everybody else was a bit of fair game for some danger. For what we were seeing, we were just looking here because it had a completely different podium and it just went up in arms and the chat just went off. But if we go to everybody here,
yeah, we do.
Yeah.
no worries.
Do you want me to?
Oh no, aye, you can do it. Oh.
Wait, so it was original third? Sorry, I'm completely thrown off
Yep.
by that
Aye,
last
it was
lap. So, I mean, you must be pretty pleased, I guess. I mean, crash on the last lap, you gained a couple of positions. Seems you had a pretty solid race, put on the softs at the end.
Well, I didn't expect Alcon to take out Lewis, so all the way around. But yeah, from where?
Yeah, well, I think you should. Well, pretty pleased in the end, I guess. Podium's always good.
Oh yeah, always is.
But well done on that. Move on to Arif. So second place. Started second, got a good start. Was pretty decent battle with Lewis. I say firstly, talk us through that first through the first safety car, the only safety car, coming into the pit lane with Lewis coming into you. That must have been interesting, and then just talk us through your race after that.
Definitely caught me off guard, Lewis coming in, because I'd taken my line very early to show I was coming in, because obviously I know drivers will sort of respond to whatever people were doing. I was quite shocked to then get by the wall and see him there alongside me. And then come out of the pits with the wrong tyre on. It was supposed to go to the medium. For some reason it put me to the hard. And then I just spent the whole race just really trying to get him to come to life and to put it down, which I kind of struggled with. But just tried to drive good smart lines. Gave Zach a little nudge on accident. He was, I think he'd driven his tyres to the very end and seemed a little early on the brakes, which caught me off guard. Look back over the footage and see what happened here. But yeah, it was just trying to drive it clean, not battle with the guys that I weren't battling with, looking around knowing, they have to go for another set of tyres and penalties and everything else. So just try and drive clean lines and be there at the end. And it kind of paid off this time.
Yeah, well done then in the end. Since I think well, just to note that I think Father Corn got driver of the day in the end with the most votes. Got unfortunate with his spin, but we'll move on to our race winner, fresh from the championship, and you have also secured a constructors title as well for the Williams team. So, I mean, you seem to, once you got in the lead, you seem to just say goodbye to everyone. Talk us through that one.
Yeah, well, I mean, about the Williams team, I was late the last 5 laps or so. I was just checking where's Lewis on call, because I really wanted to get the Williams 1-2, and then also that would have been cool for the constructors to end on that as well. But I mean, I don't know what happened with them. But yeah, but in terms of my race, I don't know. I thought it was a bit of a gamble going in lap 9 for the mediums, but I thought if you can take the softs 15 around here, you can take the mediums 25 or whatever. I knew Lewis had to pit in front of me, so I just tried to stay on the back of him, not let him get too much of a lead when he did pit, and then he was caught up in a bit of traffic, and then obviously retired at the end, but I still had the gap, so I think I just did what I needed to.
Well done on the win. Seems like you're rounded off this championship in a good start anyway. Secured. Well, obviously I'm biased to Williams, so it's good to see Williams up there.
I'm going for last to first next race. Just the guys.
To be fair.
You heard it here
I mean,
first, viewers. Heard it here
Yeah,
first. You can't go back on that now.
Yeah, I'm gonna retire Q1 next race. Just see what I can do.
Love to see it.
Gonna
I
have the
mean,
win
this
then.
is Div 3, and literally anything happens in Div 3 that
Yeah,
I've seen.
exactly.
So, yeah, well, we'll look forward to see that. Yeah, just say well done to all you guys. Riggs, you got anything to add?
No, I just want to extend the congratulations on to the free podium boys here. Just a well done on your drives, very strong, very consistent. Also, a further congratulations to Williams for securing the championship. Unfortunately, they couldn't do it in style with the 1-2, but Lewis will be having probably a lot to be answering for in that race, whether it comes into the late pit entry and nearly causing a collision with Gareth in the pit lane, to some of the moves that we've seen on the way through. Some of them did look a bit aggressive, particularly the one on Craig for 6th, and like after the second stop was one that kind of got flagged there. We never really caught that on stream, but the chat did, and also his move on Father Corn. So there will be a lot of work there for him to try and maybe build a defence for any of the things should he get called up for them. But honestly, just want to congratulate Williams on the championship win. I want to congratulate everybody that was driving in this race here in Brazil. Obviously, the championships have been secured. Further congratulations to the podium sitters, and hope to see you next week for the finale, for Division 3 finale in Abu Dhabi. And after that, the drivers will be able to take their well-deserved and earned break ahead of the new game. So we hope to see you next week for another race in Division 3 around Abu Dhabi, and hope to see you tuning in for tomorrow's race around Brazil and the top tier in Division 1. So I hope to see you here for that as well, where the commentary team for that race will be taking over. Honestly, I think I've pretty much said my piece. So I'll just round it with that. I just want to thank everybody that was watching. We were up to as high as 47 viewers at one point, so just want to thank each and every person that tuned in, that got in touch with us in the stream, that just sat and watched, whatever. Just a single congratulations to each and every one of you for just tuning in, sitting, watching, chatting, whatever, and hope to see as many in the next race in Abu Dhabi, and that's where I'm going to sign off. Well done everybody for competing, and hope to see you in the next one.
Yeah, well done,
Bye
lads.
for now.
Thanks.
So far, just leave it for 10 seconds.
Yeah. You probably leave it so long that we hear this little ad lib at the end.